Hi guys, welcome to Nine's Corner. How have you been? How's your week been? I hope you're feeling well. How am I doing? It is 30 degrees here, guys, which is 84 Fahrenheit for my Fahrenheit friends. It is so warm, and we're expected to have this all through the weekend, which sounds nice in theory, but it is so warm, and we are desperate for rain. And I have been an extremely busy bee. I have been making dill pickles. I have been chopping up carrots and freezing them. I mean, if you're going to go through all this work of putting all the energy into the farm, you have to make sure that you take care of all the product, which ends up being my job. And it's not going to be very long before I'm going to be having to get into all my beets and stuff. So it's just like, oh my God, the work I have coming for me. But I have new cards. I've had them for a couple of months now, and because for me, I have to kind of work with my cards, and I can't tell you how many times I've been like trying to work with cards, and it's like they have to work for me, and I'm a ride or die, a ride or wait fanatic. That's how I learned. I learned the spiritual meanings of it, so they really speak to me. So that has a language of its own. But I found this beautiful deck called the Modern Witch Tarot Deck by Lisa Sterle. And I knew it was the deck for me when the first card out is like a little freebie card that gives you advice. And it says, "You are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. Through this deck, may you find your path to your best self." And I was like, yes, darling. But I mean, and look, thick, nice, good card deck. You know, the card quality is really there, and it has that like plasticky type cover that, you know, like if you take care of this deck, they'll last for a really long time. Now I do find it a bit bulky, like to be able to go this way with it, you really got to concentrate. So I tend to go like this, but then if I do it this way, I tend to have more cards going flying. So they are a little bit big, but I love the artwork, and it is 100% based on rider weight, which is what makes it work for me. I just absolutely love it. So we'll just use these for, now I'll make sure I put this card away. So we're going to use these for our first couple of readings. So, do you hear it, guys? Do you hear it? That's the drip, drip, drip of the indictment coming for Donald Trump. I can hear it, I can hear it. You know that song? You better knock, knock, knock on wood. Baby, gotta knock, knock, knock on wood. I think of Donald Trump and all I hear is knock, knock, knock on wood, which gives me this feeling of like, are we getting really close to it? We've been together all this time waiting for something, praying for something, and wondering why the hell is it not happening already? And now we're starting to hear the drip drip. But like we always said, Merrick Garland was going to take his time. He was going to cross his I's and dot his T's and make, oh, I got these cards. The three I showed you. Anywho, that he was going to be very careful about it. And now it's like you're starting to see the little bits and pieces coming. Ooh. The little bits and pieces are coming because we got the Hangman. I truly feel deep, deep, deep in my cards that this is Merrick Garland's and the DOJ and even Joe Biden and them, you know, because as the current president, of course they're aware of what's happening and going on, but they are waiting to change people's mind. They want to give people time to digest as things come out. So I think the drip, drip, drip is not to infuriate and frustrate those of us who have known for years that this guy needs to go, but to allow for the Trumpsters to see things in a new perspective, because your perception is your reality. So in order to be able to get people to not cause a civil war, to not listen to the Lindsey Grahams of the world. And did you notice that the news have come out and kind of said, Lindsey Graham? And I thought that was very interesting that it kind of correlated with my reading. They must be watching my channel to figure out what to say on the news, is all I'm saying. But yeah, that's being done. So Donald Trump, oh, let's put that card back in. Interesting. Donald Trump. And we know that Donald Trump is just seething at the bit to find out who is in that indictment, who's on that Mar-a-Lago paper, who knew where to go and find things. He wants to know who the teller of the tales were. So interesting. So, okay, first, let's not muddy the waters. Is this the beginning, middle, or end, or at least, you know, we're on the close to indictment of Trump? Like, where are we on the indictment with Trump? Is Trump going to get indicted? Will it be soon? Will it be before the midterms? What's happening? Okay. Temperance. Oh my God, guys. I literally just said we got the hangman to say, hey, you know, some things have to be sacrificed. Like maybe leaving us frustrated, wondering why this criminal called Donald Trump, the Orange Blob, is not off into jail somewhere, is because they have to ensure that we don't create civil war. They don't want people being put out and fighting for Donald Trump. And they do not want to make the mistake of saying, you know, things have changed enough that we don't have to worry about that, because they've already experienced the Donald Trump experience and nobody wants to go through that again. And so here we are. The first card out is Temperance. So I do think that the final result will be an indictment. But I think that between the push and pull, the push of Merrick Garland, them putting pressure on him, the push of Merrick Garland, them having to ensure that they're looking at the big picture, which we've always said, like, everybody's been frustrated with Merrick Garland. No matter how many readings we've done, guys, we always saw him as saying, look, he's standing up. He has to do this for a reason. Why did I get so loud? And here we are. We got Temperance. So yes, it's going to happen, but it is going to take some time. They're balancing things out. The reality for me, as soon as it's like I'm trying to figure this out, and the story's coming as I'm talking, but it's like, God, what does Trump know? Trump knows so much, and anything he knows, he can use it for blackmail. What he's done is bad enough that they're willing to go after him, but it's slow in the going. They need to, like, you know, put all their things in place. But there's just, oh my God, it's so interesting how it all just kind of ebbs and flows together. So I am interested to find out if that bag of bones, Jared Kushner, may be one of probably many that are on sealed documents that have said about where things can be found, what things have happened, things that are nefarious in nature. But I got a funny feeling that it must have been Jared Kushner, and or with the knowledge of Ivanka that told where Donald could find the papers and stuff. So I just want to know, did the bag of bones, JK, not just kidding, it's Jared Kushner, it's real, it happened, it's reality, we've got it on tape. Is he one, if not one of a few that have told on Donald Trump? Two of Wands. It is him and Ivanka. Whatever Ivanka does, Jared Kushner's aware of, and whatever Jared Kushner does, Ivanka's aware of. With the Two of Wands, it's an immediate feeling of waiting for your ships to come in. So I definitely think that ooh, we got the World here coming to endings, 100%. Look, every reading we've ever done, we said they got a plan. They know the things. They've fixed themselves. They created themselves. They made sure that they covered their ass. They got what they wanted. You know, she got what she wanted out of China. He certainly got what he wanted out of Saudi Arabia. But believe me, endings and beginnings. Jared Kushner and Ivanka have both been part of telling on Trump. Mark my words. Ace of Wands. Who was at the beginning? This is telling you, look, here's the stuff and here's where to find it. Here's exactly where to find it. Here's the hand pointing to the information. So, Jared, bag of bones. Maybe you got some, I was going to say redemption, but no, I don't feel any redemption for you. But I think this is going to come between him and Ivanka. This is 100% between him and Ivanka. This is a secret that they've been holding for a number of years. They tuned out from Donald Trump many years ago, which supports all of our readings. It's so exciting. Oh, I love seeing it all to go together. But now we have to look into Macron. So as we all know, Donald Trump had some confidential papers about the French president, about Macron, and whether he's BSing or not, he's kind of told the story that, hey, I know a lot about Macron and he has some interesting sexual past to him, and kind of hinting and humming and saying he knows more now, and just kind of leaving the door open for a lot of gossip. So I thought, well, rather than worrying about the gossip, let's look at Donald Trump's declassified papers, because as soon as he moves them out of the White House, they're declassified. I don't know why everybody's after Donald Trump. Okay, Macron, what does Donald Trump actually know about you? Is there anything to be known about you? Who are you? Let's have a look. Macron. Ooh, Macron, the Empress. Very interesting. Very interesting. Oh, okay. Right from the get-go, you're very open. I got a feeling that there is some information about you that probably questions your sexuality. I don't see straight out gay here, but maybe a feeling of bisexuality. I'm just saying what Trump is saying himself. We got the King of Cups. And being in control of your feelings. But this is somebody who's can almost be like borderline narcissistic. Love themselves more than they love everybody. This is somebody who's like, I am fabulous, don't you think so? In actuality, he's the Page of Cups. I truly think that when it comes to himself, he's probably really full of himself. But when it comes to his sexuality, I don't get the feeling that he's, you know, got this big salacious past. I think what Donald Trump knows, or any information that Donald Trump knows, is something that he has bragged about. And, you know, like the fishermen that say, oh, I caught a fish, and the first time they tell the story, it's this big, and the next time they tell the story, this big, and the next time it's like 3 feet tall. Well, this is Donald Trump talking about Macron. But at the base, Macron really does think a lot of himself. And I think in his past, there may be some checking out and seeing how things flow, and maybe not knowing which way you wish to go. That's not a reflection, or not a reflection, nor is it a judgment. It's just telling me what's in the cards, what I'm seeing. 3 of Pentacles. Fudge. I think this goes further than just a playful, you know, childhood teenagey, immature kind of like, oh my God, guess what? I think that there may be information that was shared from Macron to Trump or between France and the US, that papers that Trump had and was possibly using as a pawn in against Macron, and also possibly for sale otherwise, because I think we're going to hear a lot more about that. King of Pentacles, there's something to do with money. Oh, sacrificing. Okay, guys, at first I thought this was going to be this superficial, truly I thought it was going to be this superficial kind of, you know, teenage boy, immature, gossiping about Macron. But I think when we scratch beneath the surface, something was sacrificed for money, having to deal with a deal planning with France and or Macron. So some kind of planning, prior knowledge that they worked together with, that had to deal with money, resources. Because money is, when I say money, I really should clarify that more often, because when you're dealing with pentacles, pentacles doesn't always mean money. It means things, material things that you'll get money for. So this could be food, you know, farming. This could be any kind of industry that you can get a monetization, money from, and having a sacrifice for it. So I think, wow, even further than just Macron on a superficial level, I think that there is some information about France that he was holding against or using against Macron, and possibly sacrificing that information, saying, hey, you know, Saudi Arabia or Putin or whoever. Yeah, that kind of went further than I thought. That's interesting. And did you notice, because I just as a point of interest, because Barron, Donald and Melania's Trump son, is only 16, and he has no reason to be in the news other than the fact that his father is Donald Trump, so I will not do a reading on him. He's not of age. But I did think it was very interesting, two things that are of note to me. One, when they did the search into Mar-a-Lago, they definitely, you know, made sure that everybody knew that they were two separate entrances, or two separate bedrooms for Mr. and Mrs. Trump, but they were close together, and that Melania was just really indignant over the fact that they were going through her things. And I thought it was interesting to note that when she was talking about Barron, she had said about the fact that Barron may look like the both of them, but personality-wise, she jokes and calls him Little Donald, which I thought was like very ominous, and I'm just going to leave that alone. Like, it was just like, ooh. And, you know, when we did the reading about them, and I was like, ooh, you know, as much as I think that, yeah, she was a model, a pawn, could have been put in place. Like, I mean, you know, the door could be open for 100 different things. But I did say there was something between them. And I really think that statement that she said about Barron, her son, really tells you, because she was proud of the fact that she was calling him Don Jr. So it's like, ooh. Anyway. So my next reading partially comes from a subscriber, because Yanni Trucker, I hope I said your name correctly, had asked about, at Bush Sr.'s funeral, there were a number of envelopes that went to specific people, i.e. Hillary Clinton and the Obamas, but specifically you see Laura Bush kind of look at this paper, and she shows Jeb, and Jeb is holding his chest all upset because his father died. And when he sees this, it's like you can see him just totally just feel like, look, like almost like he's angry or just kind of like in shock. And so there's a lot of question about what these envelopes were at the funeral. And it was so interesting because it was like the universe going, yes, now to do this reading, because I was already planning on doing this reading. I don't know how the universe works sometimes, but we were on the same wavelength because I had already been planning on doing the reading. And further to that, I wanted to know, one, why did Bush Sr.'s cardiologist, he was murdered. He was murdered like 8 or 9 months after Bush Sr. died. And this was Dr. Mark Hauseneck. And he was riding his bike, and somebody riding on a bike shot him. And then the person who shot him, who they think was the actual shooter, before the police could get to him and get any information, he shot himself. So So let's get to the most important question. What was in those envelopes? Was it an invitation for drinks or for dinner or for some kind of private event? Or was it something more nefarious? Because on the net, you can see that some people believe that it was basically a note saying they know everything. They being Donald Trump and company. Or was it that they know everything about the Iraq War and 9/11. I mean, the tentacles go out. So let's use what we know to be true, our tarot cards. Was there anything of consequence to those envelopes? Was there anything of consequence to those envelopes? Because when you see, well, actually, let's do Jed and Laura separate because there was something that happened there. So let's just look at the envelopes first. Was there anything to those envelopes? Okay. 9 of Wands. I mean, this is defending themselves, getting through the battle, and yet surviving it, but not surviving it well. Okay. Page of Cups coming with information. Knight of Swords rushing in. 5 of Wands creating a stir. Holy sugar, guys. Immediately, I just thought, this really and truly could have been, oh my God. Okay, let me just, for my own sake, let me just clarify before I say. Is what I'm thinking true? Is that what's... 4 of Wands. It had to do with the White House. It had to do with the White House defending themselves. It had to do with information about the White House. Okay, I really feel that the envelopes appeared to be innocent, but I think those who needed to get a message got a message. It had to do with defending themselves, getting information that would be of an emotional nature, rushing in, because when Donald Trump and them took over, there was, I think, a panic of like, what is he going to know? What is he going to find out? And Donald Trump knows how to blackmail. He knows how to use it to cause infighting. And I do think that there's a possibility that, yes, there was some kind of message, possibly from Donald Trump, kind of saying, or somebody who represents Donald Trump or knows Donald Trump to know that Donald Trump walked in there knowing information. Wow. Okay. Let's put these cards back and let's look at, why did Jeb have such a reaction when Laura Bush showed him what appeared to be a piece of paper, possibly the envelope that everybody else was looking at. I can't guarantee that, but you can review the video, because I did do up a little thingamajiggy that I showed before, or I hope I would have showed before this. All right. What was it that Laura showed Jeb that got Jeb so upset and got such a reaction out of him? What was it that got such a reaction out of him? And she didn't turn to her husband. She didn't turn to her husband. She turned to Jeb. And if you look at when he was coming in, when George Bush Jr. was coming in, she was holding him up. He looked really fragile, like really upset. Is it possible the message was from him? Like maybe saying, hey, we got to meet because of Donald Trump? Donald Trump is dead. Oh my God. Okay. Stop. Nina, you're going too fast. First, Laura Bush. What caused his reaction? What caused Jeb to react to Laura Bush? 5 of Wands. Creating chaos. 10 of Wands. Oh no. The 10 of Wands is all the burdens. This is knowledge, finding out about what could really cause a lot of chaos. Strength. The strength of the U.S. depended on this. I do think that Laura Bush and Jeb's reaction to some kind of paper is the same envelope that others received. I think that there was a mix. I think some people might have got an envelope and it was blank and it was sort of like a message. I think other people didn't get an envelope and that sent a message. But I think that there were people who got a message and it more or less did say, be worried. I think they knew that Donald Trump would use the information that he would find out about the White House to his advantage and to their disadvantage, and their secrets to be known. I am just like, what? Am I reading this correctly? Because I'm trying not to see what I see, because I just wanted to be like, oh, this is just a social invitation, but it's not. I really think it was among a few. Okay. Let's go to Dr. Mark Hauseneck, who was the cardiologist for George Bush Sr. And he was killed 8 months after George Bush Sr. He was shot on his bike by a fellow bicycle rider. The police captured a man who they felt was the person who shot the doctor. And he himself killed himself before the police could get to him. So I want to know, was this a random shooting? Was this done on purpose because they felt the cardiologist knew too much about Bush, about Bush's health, about, because with dementia comes sharing information that maybe somebody didn't want them to have. I mean, there's just So I want to know, I mean, you're looking at 2 murders. What was behind the murder? What happened to Dr. Mark Hausenneck? What happened? Wow. Holy moly. This is like literally targeted much? Yeah. This was a targeted death. This was a targeted death for reasons, and they were multitude of them. This man, the doctor, had secrets, had knowledge, had information. Swords is knowledge. Swords is information. And for that reason, he was taken out. Like, whoa, guys. Page of Swords. Here's the spy. Oh, this was done on purpose. This was done by somebody who's a spy in the camp who knew that this doctor knew too much or had information. Page of Pentacles. The Page of Swords was given money, an offer of money to do the deed, and the Three of Cups. 3 people or 3 different entities, possibly including this Page of Swords, because this is the spy who knew. This was the Page of Wands. This is the Page of Pentacles. So either this is somebody being paid to do it that's separate from this, because at the end of the day, you've got the 3 of Cups. So 1, 2, and then the person who wanted it done. This was definitely done on purpose. This was not random. This was not... Wow. Why? Why was this doctor killed? Why? Knew too much. Okay. That reading's done. Have I told you how much I love tarot? But then on top of it, have I told you how much I love these cards? They are so Rider-Waite perfect, but yet it has such a feminine power riding through them, and I just love it. It just, it speaks to me in so many ways. So next, because we're talking about the Bushes, I would like to ask about George Bush Jr. I want to know, when he was in that classroom on 9/11, getting the information that a plane had hit the first tower, I want to know from tarot, through energy, through Bush Sr.'s energy, through the universe, through God, through everything that I can ask from, to enlighten me through tarot without my opinion. Did George Bush know about 9/11? Did he have prior knowledge about it? Let's just ask the question. Did he have prior knowledge about it? Was he aware that this was going to happen? And did he just not do anything and let it happen? Or worse still, did he have something to do with it? So let's just do a full Celtic cross and see what's happening here, because I just got waved. Okay. In that classroom at that moment, I want to know, what was the main focus for him? Was he focusing on, dear God, what has happened? Or is he focusing on, okay, it's finally happened, something he knew? Oh, freaking geez, we got the 8 of Pentacles. This is somebody looking at the details, looking at all the fine details, knowing. He knew, and he knew 8 months prior. He had information. This is information. This is exchanges of money. This is exchanges of information. This is communications. This is prior knowledge up to 8 months of information. And this is not just, possible, but like at 2%. This is like somebody saying, look, you've got to, this is something you need to be aware of. Crossing it. The Six of Wands. Eek. Because on the one hand, I get a kick out of George Bush. I don't agree with his politics. I know he has a lot of bad things behind him, but he's funny. And I love the way that him and Michelle Obama almost had like a flirtatious kind of friendship. And the way he laughs and goes, you know, that, I don't know, I can't do it, but you get what I'm saying. But this to me lets me know that he wanted to do something to get recognition. This is something that he wanted to do to create a buzz, to create money, to create a war. And he was in on it. He felt that this would bring him praise. And I think possibly some of his praise might have been wanting it from Daddy. Underneath it, we've got the Queen of Wands. His mother, George Bush Sr.'s wife, underneath it was a firm woman in all of her children's lives. She sacrificed so that they would have. I think that she was brutally honest, and she probably spoke and influenced her son on her husband's behalf. The mother is a strong influence here. In the past, we got the Six of Pentacles. I truly feel that this has two meanings. I think that what Daddy started, I'm going to finish. I can, if I do this for you, then that could mean everybody wins. It's a win-win. We get an award, it's a win-win. People make money. On top of it, the Queen of Cups, having knowledge. God help me. The Queen of Wands, or the Queen of Cups, as I've told you in hundreds of our readings together, that it's the only one that has the cap on the cup. And this is holding down the emotion, holding down the knowledge. On top of it, I truly feel that he knew. He had prior knowledge, and he knew. He knew. He closed his eyes to it and knew that something would happen. Did he know that it was going to be on the scale that it was? I mean, the Chariot. Travel, like literally about travel. The two planes going in. Having the prior knowledge and having the ability to stop it. Do you, okay, I love these cards because look, I see the Death card on top of this person, because as soon as I looked at it, I saw this and I thought, oh my God, death of family, children, generations, parents. He knew. Dear God in heaven above. The people around him, temperance. Temperance. People want it. It's like as time went on, people's beliefs changed. I think in the beginning, it was like everybody come together. I mean, I am so, so proud of Newfoundland. I am so proud of Canada and the friendship that we showed. and the people of the United States coming together as a whole to support each other. But I think as time goes by, people started seeing the cracks and start questioning things and kind of going, I'm not sure. Oh my God. Oh my God. The death of many is on his conscience. The death of many. The outcome. Okay, Nina, calm down. The King of Wands is somebody who sees the big picture. Okay. I feel as though because we were talking about Bush Sr., that Bush Sr. is literally coming out at the end of this reading and saying, look, hold your horses, Nina, calm your engines, stop being so upset because some things are beyond your understanding. You don't have the whole picture. And that the whole picture, as we have said in many times, there's a plan in this world that is interrupted, thankfully sometimes and hurtfully sometimes, by free will. And sometimes we are put on this earth, or some of us are put on this earth, and our destiny is to be a player in that bigger plan. Bush Jr., and I feel like Bush Sr.'s kind of commenting on this. I hope I'm not confusing you. But that this was done for the transformation. Because when the death card comes up, and this came up in the Celtic cross as the others, the people around. And it took me a second for the king, like, oh my, I just love this. I love it. It took a second for me to calm down because the King of Wands reminded me, you don't know, you don't see the big picture because the big picture is beyond earth. And when the death card comes up and you see the death card, this is a reminder that sometimes the universe stops us in our journey. And it's not just one or two, it affects the whole world. And it's a reset for our spirituality. It's a moment of saying, hey, you're all over the place. You need something that is traumatic to bring you all to this coming change. And with the Chariot, it shows that it had to do with travel. It had to be on a world scale. It had to almost bring people to their knees to realize that the 80s and materialism, and we're living because we are living in a material world. And the universe is saying, no, reset. You are on this earth as a spiritual being having an earthly experience. And so at all points, your spirituality is the most important thing, whether you're here or there. And that we had become too earthbound. People had become too much of the earth, almost losing their spirituality, losing their ability to know the reasoning as to why they're on this earth. And this is a reset. The Great Reset, maybe. I mean, we are always hearing about it, but this is confirmation of it. Okay. I don't know that I need to, but I'm going to. I want to know. Okay. You saw that? I literally said, I want to know what are we to learn from this? Because this is a big story happening and being controlled and narrated by a small few. And yet, I pulled the strength card, that this is about learning that our strength is not in materialistic things. It's not in the brute. It is in the softness of using your spirituality. It is in the softness of kindness. It is in having to go back to maybe when we first came, when we first really started living on this earth as humans, I think we had a lot more connection spiritually. And over the years and generations and hundreds of years, we have gotten further and further away from that spirituality. And that we have the strength to get through this, that this is our destiny to get through this, that we are resetting this earth so that it is again a place of lessons and spirituality for those who come after us. Guys, we are really important people living through some really important times. So I wish for each and every one of you the strength to live life, because sometimes it's just hard. Sometimes it's just hard to get up in the morning. Sometimes it's hard to watch the news. Sometimes life is just hard. But we have the strength to get through it. And there's a reason why we're here. And bless us. Whatever we need, we already have. And our ability to manifest is so weak right now, but we are being forced to be reset into our spiritual ways, to have a greater and stronger connection to energy, to universe, to God, to life force, so that we can live a better life. So in actuality, all the pain and turmoil and lessons that we're learning is necessary. It's part of building this life and this earth that we leave for others. Wow. That was a really interesting read. I hope you enjoyed it. I enjoyed my time with you. I hope you enjoyed it. And as always, I have our unity candle lit for each and every one of us. Please feel free to like, subscribe, and share, and do all that good stuff that helps my channel. And until the next time we chat, cheerio and take care, my friends.